It'll be one to go this time by. Coming to the green, buddy, coming to the green. Let's go get him. Go, 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 go!
Get your motor running. Head out on the highway.
And welcome to today's NASCAR Cam Video Teleconference in advance of Saturday's NASCAR Sprint Cup Series race at Bristol Motor Speedway, the Sharpie 500. Saturday will be the 8th event in the Race to the Chase, the 10-race stretch that precedes NASCAR's playoff, the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. Today from Richard Childress Racing in Welcome, North Carolina, we are joined by Kevin Harvick, driver of the number 29 Shell Pennzoil Chevrolet. Kevin has 1 win, 8 top 5s, and 10 top 10 finishes at Bristol. He also has an impressive average finish of 9.9. In the March Bristol race, Kevin finished second as part of a 1-2-3 sweep by Richard Childress Racing. Kevin is also currently 8th in the point standings. Kevin, an opening question for you. Considering the amount of success that you've had at Bristol, what is your outlook for this weekend?
Well, I think based on our first race that we had there this year, I think obviously we have high expectations going into Bristol. So it'll be the first time I've gone to Bristol and not run the nationwide race this week, so that'll be interesting watching that for the first time in my career. But we always look forward to going to Bristol and really just kind of getting into the Bristol groove there and just trying to make something happen. We came up 1 spot short the last time, probably by fault of the driver for sure, but cars are usually good and looking forward to this weekend.
Thanks, Kevin. We will now go to media for questions for today's NASCAR Cam guest, Kevin Harvick.
Thank you. The question and answer session will be conducted electronically. If you wish to ask a question, you may do so by pressing the star key followed by the digit 1 on your touch-tone telephone. If you're using a speakerphone, please make sure your mute function is turned off so your signal can reach our equipment. Once again, that is star 1 to ask a question. We'll pause for just a moment to assemble our queue. And we'll first hear from David Newton with ESPN.com.
Hey, Kevin. Did you like the racing better at Bristol when it was more bumping and grinding out there, or do you like it better now that there are multiple grooves and you guys can pass a whole lot more?
Well, I think they've done a great job with the racetrack in just making some other grooves. The first time we went there, I think the tires were a little bit too hard and you could run all the way up at the wall. And last time we went there, it was more like the old Bristol, but you still had a couple options from the bottom to the middle. So I think that once they got the tires squared away and the racetrack kind of came back around and the racing was a lot more normal than last time.
That's a place where tempers normally flare. Do you go there thinking that'll happen less now, though, that there's more passing and not so much knocking the guy out of the way?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely have options to go there, and we were fortunate to always be able to run there, and we really didn't have to knock a lot of people out of the way because our cars were always, usually pretty good there. So, it's just one of those places where things happen, and you just go race hard.
Thanks, Kevin.
And next we will hear from Dustin Long with Landmark Newspapers.
Kevin, just kind of along those same lines, some people might suggest that the Bristol night race is maybe a little bit more tamer in the sense of being able to have the multiple grooves and its positioning so close to the chase cutoff. Do you see that type of aggressiveness you've seen in the past? And if not, if that's been lost, what do you feel like has been gained with these changes?
I think everybody reads a lot more into it than there actually is. We go to a racetrack to race as hard as we can every time, and you have things happen at Daytona, you have things happen at Bristol, and I think there's a lot read into that question as far as being a tamer race at Bristol. That's almost funny to hear somebody say that because I don't know that there is a tame race at Bristol. So I think if everybody's running over the top of each other, it's people are going to complain about that. And now that there's places to pass, people are going to complain about that. So let's write a happy story about it. They did a hell of a job on the racetrack, and I think they should be commended for that. And I think the racing is good, and it was really good at the first race this year. And just because you don't have 20 cautions in one race doesn't make it an abnormal Bristol.
Thanks.
And we'll now hear from Louis Brewster with Daily Bulletin.
Hey, Kevin. Hey, they're expected to announce today that the Fontana race is moving out to Labor Day, and you've been a little critical of the heat. What do you think about the new October date?
Well, I think obviously the California market is a tough market for in the particular dates that we have right now. You know, the first race is probably enough for that particular market. There's probably a better market that we could go to the second time of the year, just because there doesn't seem like there's as much participation at that particular venue as there are in some other venues. So hopefully the date change you know, makes it better. I hadn't seen a schedule yet, so I don't know if that's true or not. So you know, if the date changes, I think it'll definitely be better if it's cooler and you know, it's not on a holiday where there's so much to do out there.
You're from this area. What do you think they have to do to promote or to make the second race successful?
Well, I think the first race has to be full first. You know, I think in that particular area, I think there's just so much to do, and there's so many things happening, and you know, I think there's just just not as big a market as some of the markets that we go to as far as racing is concerned. So hopefully, if they do change the date, that'll help things a little bit. But you know, if it's 100 degrees, I wouldn't want to sit in the grandstands either.
Thanks, Kevin.
And we'll now hear from Robert DeRoki with BRD Broadcasting.
Thank you. Excuse me. Kevin, 75% of the drivers we talk to say that driving at Bristol is actually scary. Well, heck, evidently you don't think so, but can you name one thing that would make the drivers so worried about racing at Bristol, you know, one main point?
Well, I think, you know, there's just a lot of things happening at Bristol, and obviously you can get caught up in somebody else's mess pretty fast and not make a mistake. So I don't know that I would categorize it as scary, but you know, it's just a pretty fast short track that things happen pretty fast. So you know, the biggest thing you worry about is getting caught up in something that you really aren't a part of.
Good luck this weekend.
And we'll now hear from Jared Turner with NASCAR Scene.
Yes, Kevin, if you don't mind, another schedule question for you. Word has it that Chicago Atlanta is going to gain a Craftsman Truck Series date, and as a team owner there in the Truck Series, I was wondering how you would feel about that.
Well, like I say, I hadn't seen a schedule yet, an official schedule of everything that's happening, but obviously Chicago market would be, you know, really good for the Truck Series. It's you know, a big race for a lot of companies that are involved in our sport, and would be a great market for us to venture into.
And just sort of an unrelated follow-up, you've been particularly strong on the last few weeks. Appear to be hitting your stride sort of at the right time. What do you attribute the improvements to?
Well, we've been running really well for, you know, at least 2.5 months now. We didn't have, you know, the finishes to show for everything that had been turned around in the last probably 3 months, really. You know, there's just better cars, better engines, better everything. Everything just seems to be going our way now, and we're getting some breaks and doing things right in the shop. And not that we were doing them wrong before, it just seems like everything's transferring over to finishes now. So hopefully, like you say, we're hitting our stride at the right time, and we can carry that into the next 3 weeks and hopefully onto the chase.
Thanks.